Yorana, and welcome to FM Tahiti. I hope you're doing well. You're having a good day. I've just carried on my kind of mammoth recording session, so the fan's still on in the background. It's still too warm to function properly. So yeah, apologies if you hear the fan. Otherwise, we're going to get on with things. So we played two games in between the last video and this. So once again, one against Papite and one against Takaroa, and show you the results here. We drew against Papite. Jean-Baptiste popped up and got a goal, but that was about it for us. It wasn't that tight stats wise, but actually there wasn't that much in it. Draw was probably fair. And then we beat Takaroa Terrors 1-0 with Tamangaro getting a goal, but he's also injured himself, so he's not available for this match, or I think he might be lightly injured for the match against Bar, which is our next stop. Because we dropped points against Papite and because of the other results have gone on, we're still 6th. So 25 played, 45 scored. The most we can get now is 54 points, which even if all the other teams above us dropped points somehow, that would leave us 3rd. That's the highest we can actually physically, mathematically manage at this stage. So that's fine. The title dream is over, but the title dream never really got going, to be fair, because it wasn't a likely scenario, considering it's our first season in the top flying. We had the O League to contend with as well, so we're just going to focus on the O League and the Shield of Pride now. So let's do that. Let's go play Bar. Interestingly, let's show you the news item. If I can find it, there we go. Bar's nickname is the Men in Black, which I think is a very cool nickname for any football club. I'm assuming they play in black. And Tamangaro's not going to he's going to have to sit in the stands. He's not going to be able to play against the Men in Black. He's going to watch on whilst everyone else gets their memory wiped. We're the evening at the later slots, so all the other games are played at 6. It doesn't look like we've got TV coverage for some reason, but whatever. So Auckland City are through. They beat Morris to Fire. Moria are also through, and Team Wellington are through, despite it being taken right to the end. So 90th minute goal for them, but also 90th plus 4 for Magenta. So whoever wins here out of us and Bar will play Team Wellington. Let's sort our squad out. So Tamagara's injured, unfortunately. Chiri comes back into the fold. Swap him around. So Chidi plays where he's normally good at. Now we'll put Chidi there then if he's better at that. I just completely contradicting myself very quickly. Bonnet is just about ready and back from injury. So we can put Lamb back on the left. Bowman's injured, Minan's injured, but we'll keep them on there because we don't really have much in the way of alternative. Well, we'll bring on Taylor for Minan, but we've not really got anyone else on the left. And we'll run with this. We've had the greatest run in the past couple of games in the league, but Bar probably not as good as the Premiership sides that we play, so hopefully we'll be able to make some progress. I don't know when, assuming we get through, I don't know when the semi-final is actually going to be, if we've got any matches in between now and then. What was that? I need to see that replay. Throw in. Fine. Looks like some kind of error at some point. The ball goes in long. Wallace slid in, so you think it got over the sort of mishmash of defenders and the keeper, and he slid in when it was on the ground. Not a pretty goal, but it is a goal. Yeah, so if we get through to semi-final, I'll probably skip whatever. Well, I say skip. I won't record any of the league matches we've got in between, because they are dead rubber, and just go into the semi-final if we've got that against Wellington. Lamb goes long, Manuel nods it back, Jean-Baptiste skews it. That's a very kind of training ground-esque set piece. Go on, Spearling. Nah. So we're going to need 1 or 2 goals, I think, to make sure this is a safe result, but 15 minutes in, they've not had a shot, we've had 6 and got a goal. That'll do us at the moment. I always thought Bar would be a bit stronger than some of the other teams because they're a Fiji side. I think Fiji and Vanuatu are quite strong. They're relatively strong, and I think in the real world they're strong nations for the OCL in terms of the teams they've got domestically. They're not so much in our database because obviously they're not active leagues. They don't have any active players. And again, if I could change it for FM20, go on Frey. There we go. Bit of daylight between us now. Manuel did reasonably well to get it across the Frey, and Frey, again, he's in that position where he can just go back across goal. That's how he scores his. Yeah, it'd be good if classic. If in FM20 I sort out the nations properly and I don't end up replacing nations, things like that. What I might also try and do is set up the other real leagues like Fiji, Vanuatu, and things like that with their real teams, their real league system. Set it up in the editor and have them just on in the background. So there'll be a bigger player pool generally, but they'll also then have real players, and there'll be a real benefit to them doing well in competitions. Be dynamic rep going on and things like that. They'll just make it a little bit richer. So I think that's what I'm going to go for as well next year. I'll say next year, in the next couple of months. We'll certainly get the beta when it comes out in the early release, but the problem is with the beta you don't get any access to the editor. So I won't be able to make any changes there. Right, half time. 20 shots, 10 on target. They've got an out. We're just going to keep this going. Might bring Lamb off in a little bit because he's got a yellow card, but other than that, looks like plain sailing so far. As I say that, they then get a shot. Beautiful. One of the things I'm also considering for the next... Oh, go on, Bon. Back out. Bon's going to whip it in, maybe? No. He's going to knock it around for a bit. Chilly there. Gets the header in and then gets the follow up because the header wasn't going to be enough. Can't remember what I was going to say then. Chili's goal completely robbed me of whatever it was I was going to say. He'll come back, I'm sure. If you can hear the screaming outside. Some kids water fighting a couple of gardens over because it is that hot. Everywhere's melting. Yeah, it's a pity you can't get the editor with the beta. I will stop getting the beta and playing. I'll just have to hold on until it's time. Oh, almost. Right, time to make some subs now. Bring on Bauman, Thomas, and Kerr. You'll have to work out what to play for the beta. I'll probably record something for the channel, but I'm not quite sure. I was thinking maybe just go off and play in Asia or whatever they've got, you know, league-wise loaded there. I don't know if they're going to add to it. Be good to see if they could add Japan. They added any extra leagues to Africa as well, that'd be good. Because at the moment it's just South Africa, so if they do that, it'd be nice to play there too. We'll just have to see. Breezy 30 degrees. Jealous of the fact they've got a breeze going on. Muller goes long, nothing there for him. I think 3-0 is reasonable. Kind of demonstrates though that as we've gone against the stronger side, although we still won, it was a little bit trickier. We could have had more than 3, I guess. We were a bit lucky in that sense. 43 shots for their 3. But still. Right, so let's see then. Let's see if we can get something scheduled for the semi-final. Where we'll be against Wellington, no doubt. We get Wellington 16th of April. We've got any games in between? Got Tetaroa. Oh, and then this one's a two-legged affair. I will come back for that as well. We'll get it all in this episode. I'll go play against Tetaroa and then come back for the next bit. Alright, so we're back for the semi-finals, and it's looking interesting. So Moria have already played their first leg against Auckland City and beaten 4-1, which is decent against the New Zealand side. So we've got Wellington. Let's see if we can do something similar. We've never played them before. We're already getting these red things here because it means they've got much stronger players than us over there. We've got a few injuries and things to work out here. Stroud on there for Maggie. Ray Manuel Bon. All of this is generally speaking fine. Let's bring Minan on. Bauman's too injured. Maggie's going to come off. Bring on Sabua. That is about it. There's nothing else we can do really. Let's see how this goes. I still can't remember what it was I was going to say about what I'm planning to do as well. The next FM20, but that's fine. Most of these players are, I think, completely great players. Team Wellington and I got to a point where they don't have any real players. They did to begin with. All of the New Zealand teams had a few kind of real players in there, or managed to get some regens, but they seem to be pretty sparse at the moment. But their kind of grey players will still be pretty good grey players. At least at this stage in the competition we get to play at home. So we're playing at the Aerodome in Turtungegi. Breezy 28 degrees as we go up against them. See, hopefully a home advantage might give us something. Lam into Manuel. Some kind of weird tackle past his marker. Jean-Baptiste into Chidi. Oh, Chidi kind of taps it in, just a little turn and into the corner. Not a bad start. Not a bad start at all. I wonder what our gate receipts are going to be from this as well. It would be great if we win and we get a huge amount of money from the gate receipts. We are a little bit in debt. We're about £180,000 in debt, I think. We did get our record gate for the match against Bar, actually, which was £8,000. Previously, the record was £6,000. See why we're not making much money from that. Chidi gets it back in, and then Wallace. That was good. So the ball goes in long. It looks like it's going to go off. Chidi nods it back across goal into the path of Wallace. Good work by Chidi. The keeper didn't really have a chance when they're that close. But all in all, good move. This is interesting. If we can stay competitive against Wellington, then we could line up a final. We could end up in our actual debut season in the OCL. We could maybe have a final lined up against probably Moria if they've won their first leg 4-1. Wasn't really expecting this. They went long, he goes straight to Frey. Oh, Chidi gets through. Spearling smacks it against the crossbar. Good move generally. Just didn't quite have the finish. I think we need to get as many goals as we can, because going away might be tough. Ooh, they managed to hit the post, and that's terrible. I mean, the first shot was kind of good that it threatened, but the keeper should have done something about that. Cameron into Root. Why did the keeper not clear it or grab it or whatever? Idiot. 2-1, okay. We're still kind of getting more possession and still getting more shots away. Not made any changes at half time. I just want to see if we can keep this momentum going. Let's see if we can do something. A couple more goals. Only advantage going into the away leg's good, but we need to make the most of it. Spearing in. Very close, that one. It's weird. Spearling's threatening, but because he's not quite getting the final product in there, he's only got 6.6 for his rating. Spearling might be good for a goal. This is why I find the average rating or the rating is really difficult to use, because I don't think that's really reflecting his contribution. And I found in the statistics stuff that I've done in some of the other videos, the average rating is actually quite a poor. Go on, Chidi. There we go. Had the time, had the space. He wasn't going to miss that. 22nd goal of the season. Up and through. Not bad. Not bad at all. I think I just need more coffee or something, because I completely forgot what I was saying before Chidi went and scored that. I'm sure it's nonsense anyway, but... average ratings, that's what it was. Chidi's got another 4-1, just like the Moria match. I'm going to bring some subs on now, because I'm going to need to rest. So Chidi's got his hat-trick, he can come off. Hewitt's going to come on for Spearling. Blah-de-blah. Let's bring a Frey for Taylor for the moment. So yeah, average ratings are really skewed, and they're skewed towards scoring goals, getting assists. So Spearling's will go up now because he got that assist, but it doesn't necessarily capture the defensive side of it or the possession keeping side of it that well. It's all about the kind of production at the other end that skews it the most. Oh, that is the kind of follow-up, isn't it? That's just... Smith's not very alert. Neither are the central defenders, to be fair, but that Lamb tries to get rid of it, and he gets it back in Smith, kind of like bodies it. Never mind for that one. Long ball in, almost. Yes, so average ratings do take into account the defensive stuff. So key tackles, blocks and so on, but he really doesn't weight them in quite the same way for some reason. I guess it's just like real life. You remember goal scorers are valued more than defenders, even though defenders are valuable. It's just that kind of thing. Go on, Bond, try and get another one in. Squeeze in one more goal, maybe. Yeah, there we go. 5-2, Manuel gets in. 3-goal gap. It's a good gap to take into the next leg. I mean, they've shown they can score. I mean, they've got 2 in this case. It's not beyond the realms that they could claw it back. But it's a decent gap. Much happier with that than 2. On Taylor, do just wind down the clock. Manuel. Now doing from that one. So we're going to go into the next leg with a decent advantage. Can't be anything but pleased with that, really, can you? It's increasingly looking like the New Zealand side's going to be knocked out by us. So how many days we've got? We've got 7 days before the next match, so I'll pause the recording and come back in just a moment. And we are back for the next match. Obviously nothing happened in between the last 2 because there's no other games to play. Chabert did injure himself in training though. A bit irritating. Tangara's not quite back to fitness, but we'll put him on and should give him the opportunity, and there's nothing else to change. We're going to the final leg. We did have some voting to do. They've changed their formations. They've gone for a 4-4-2 now, a bit more attacking, I guess. Then was it their 5-3-2 they had the first leg? This should be interesting. If they're going to attack us more, we might be able to hit them on a counter more. It's nothing. Start again. So, because yes, we had some voting to do. So the Premiership Player of the Season vote came up. We actually had a couple of players for consideration. So Lamb and Jean-Baptiste Moreau both considered for it. And we had to vote in the Rookie Player, so the best young player of the Premiership, essentially. We didn't have any players for that, which is kind of unsurprising because we don't have a youth intake. So by the time we get a player, they've already probably played a season, or they've come through someone else's youth ranks. They're not eligible anymore. But Moreau and Lamb in with a shout. I don't think they will. Oh, Chidi. Nice finish. I really wasn't expecting anything to come from that. So ball comes in from Moreau. Yeah. Back out to Chidi. One touch. In he goes, corner of the net. He loves finding the corner of the net. 24th goal. Got plenty in the O-League now. What else is going on? Semi-Gerard's just scored for Moria against Auckland. We both, Tutengegi and Moria both have a 4-goal advantage over the New Zealand side, so we're both in pretty strong positions. Roots, oh, that looked close. The rebound almost went back in as well. Spearling, that was poor keeping. Good strike generally, and then he got it around the wall, a bit of bend on that, but that keeper did get a touch to it, didn't he? Look at this. He should have done better with that. Don't want to jinx it, but I think we've got a final to go to. And there's no way I'm wearing a suit for it because it's too hot here. Far too hot. They're getting a bit of space there. Just wide then, but they're not completely out of it. Good strike. Keeper should have done better, but good strike. They're not out of it. I do think if New Zealand was an active league and they had real players, well, not real players, but had players rather than greyed out players, that we wouldn't see the same kind of dominance that Tahitian sides have managed to get. I think we would eventually, but just not yet. So it's something I think for FM20 I'll look at. Just having more of these active leagues or background leagues, just to keep things more competitive. It also means the transfer market might be quite different as well. New Zealand teams might actually buy some of the, especially the kind of mid-table teams, things like that, might come in and spend a few thousand here and there, bringing in our Polynesian players. Oh, there we go. I mean, disallowed. Harsh. Really harsh. I think that should have stood. Because yeah, there was a player who was offside, but was he interfering with play? Was he in front? I guess he was in front of the keeper, but didn't deflect off him. No change at Moria. We'll need to make some subs soon, just to try and keep things fresh. Let's bring on... Oh. Just my mouse. Bring on Thomas. Let's bring on Taylor for the moment. It's not what I was originally going to do before the mouse messed up, but you know, I'll take it as a sign. They're knocking it around. One doesn't quite clear it. There we go. It was building up. It was definitely coming. Still 7-4. 20 minutes to play. What are we going to shout at them? Demand more. Be focused, confident, focused. Ahmed's still complacent. Just get the ball off them and get some possession. Through. It's all crumbling, it's falling apart, isn't it? 7-5 on aggregate. Concentrate. Overwhelmed. That was too much shouting. Get rid of it, Stroud. Oh, this is closer than it needs to be, and this is us cocking it up. Right. Ryan Wells on a 6.2, but I have no one really to come on for him. I'm bringing Tamangara on for Wallace, because Wallace isn't playing very well. We've no outlet up front. Maybe if we get it to Tamangara, he can actually hold the ball up. He's a kind of weird offensive substitute to do something that's a bit more defensive. I could change this, but I think that'll just invite more pressure. Spearing into Moreau. Thomas, back to Moreau. Spearling picks it up. Tamangara gets the goal. The man, the legend, the scorer of that last minute goal that got Roro to the title, their first ever title, is also just popped up with a key goal for the Wings in the OCL. It's not a goal in the final, but it's one that'll get us there. I mean, don't want to say it was an inspired substitution, but that was an inspired substitution. I mean, they're probably still going to score like 2 now anyway, aren't they? Oh, there we go. Tamangara's goal, definitely very important. They're really happy for the fans who got tickets for both legs. Let's see a historic first leg win and then a historic second leg collapse, potentially. Don't know what to shout at people. More. Focus. Spearling's pressured. Come on. It's the referee, isn't it? Fantastic. That was a tense match. I don't know if I sounded tense, but it gradually started slipping away from us, didn't it? We went ahead and then Wellington really made us pay. But we're into the final. Historic final, debut OCL. Made it through despite that second leg loss. We're going to be against Moria. Do we have a date for this? No date yet. So we'll come back for the next episode, which will probably be the OCL final. Be the 14th of May. We're going to come back for the Shield of Pride in the O-League. That's what we'll come back for, because we've only got a couple of league games left. There's no point in us playing these league games. It makes no difference really to the overall league position. If anything, it'd be good if we kind of lose them and drop a few positions so there's less pressure on us next season. But we play for the win no matter what, I think. So thanks very much for watching. Thanks for following us all the way through to hopefully our first O-League win with the Wings. Not our first O-League win ever, but first with the Wings potentially. And we'll come back to that. Thanks very much.